This episode of Rick and Rick is brought to you by Taskin, the first name in ultra-stylish, premium-quality travel gear, like the Taskin Air Duo dual-sided compression packing cubes. One side's 100% air breathable to keep clean clothes fresh and wrinkle-free. The other side's odor and water-resistant to keep dirty laundry sealed up tight. Now you can pack up to 40% more in the same space. Save 30% on your next purchase when you use the promo code R&R Take 30. That's R&R Take 30 at taskinsf.com.
Welcome to the Rick and Rick Marketing Podcast, with news and views from the intersection of marketing, media, tech, and pop culture.
This time out, Google's AI mode is a beast, while Billie's scratch-and-sniff deodorant billboard is the pits.
Lilo Stitch and Mission Impossible break box office records.
While the Chicago Sun-Times accidentally prints an AI-generated summer reading list full of fake books.
Plus insights from Deloitte's latest CMO survey, loaded questions, and a whole lot more.
And it all starts right here, right now, on the one show where everybody goes for a quick Rick Me Up, and everybody rules the world.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to an all-new episode of Rick and Rick Rule the World. This is Rick Matheson and Rick Wooten. Rick, how was your weekend?
I had a great weekend, man. I got a little wine tasting in, a little barbecue. What more can you ask for?
Yeah, I had some good barbecue too. In fact, I surprised myself. You ever do that where you're like making the stuff that you make a million times and it's like you're expecting one thing and then it comes out fantastic, but you're not totally sure how you did it?
Totally. Too many times.
Yeah, and I had to just like pretend like, oh yeah, of course. And I'm like, shoot, I'll never be able to replicate that again.
Totally.
I also saw Mission Impossible, which we'll talk about in just a little bit. In fact, we're going to be talking about a lot of cool stuff this episode, folks. We're going to start with Radar Love, our look at things that are hitting Rick and Rick's pop culture radar these days, followed by the good, the bad, and the marketing. Now, I'm going to start off with Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning. Once you had a chance to see it, Rick, we'll have to review it, but I'll just say that it's no Fallout. You know, that's my favorite one, but it does deliver some big time action and excitement. You got to see it on as big a screen as you can.
Nice. And is this the last one? Is that what I read?
That's how they're teasing it. They certainly left it up for adventures to continue.
Interesting.
It's got some good little twists, lots of action. I'm not saying it's perfect, but entertaining.
There's been a lot of hype around this. I'm stoked to hear that it lived up to it. I've actually kind of gotten sucked into a show called Warrior. It's pretty cool. You know, I'm a big Bruce Lee fan. Well, this show was based on a bunch of writings of Bruce Lee. It takes place in the 1800s in San Francisco when folks from China were coming over and trying to integrate into the U.S. You've got a lot of the cultural sensitivities of the time, you know, like people are afraid of other people from out of the country, and you've got people trying to vie for control. You've got some gang activity. It's really well done. It's really well written. There's enough action in it that makes it fun. I'm really enjoying it.
It sounds cool. So you're saying that Bruce Lee had written about this particular topic?
Yeah, and I guess it's his writings. They don't say that he wrote the story. They just said that it was inspired by his writings. And so I don't know if that means that he had written some stories and they kind of built this off of it, or if he was kind of capturing some history that he had been told through the generations. I don't know the full rationale behind it. I just know that he was involved from the inspiration of the show and where it went from there. And honestly, you only have to watch the first episode to kind of see some of his influence in it. They definitely pay homage to him and both his martial arts as well as, you know, the way he communicated, the way he talked and all that. So they do a really good job.
What streamer is on?
It's on Netflix. And it's actually kind of an interesting story. It was originally on Cinemax, and I believe after 2 seasons, it was canceled, and then it got picked up by maybe HBO. It got renewed for a season. It then got canceled and picked up by Netflix, and I believe they've committed to 2 more seasons. It's kind of like The Expanse, if you remember that amazing sci-fi show, where it's one of those things where it's so amazing that, you know, somebody has to pick it up. Somebody has to go with it.
I'll have to check that out. I just finished Tony Gilroy's brilliant Andor on Disney+. This is the prequel to Rogue One about an emergent rebellion against far-right authoritarianism, and one of the key heroes from Rogue One fighting for a victory that he'll never live to see. So not just a great Star Wars, I'd say it's one of the best TV shows I've seen in a a real long time. Got to see it.
Nice. You know what I did end up watching over the weekend was a show called Murderbot on Apple TV.
Is it any good?
You know, it was a lot of fun. It kind of reminds me of that show on Netflix about the family who gets stranded in space.
Lost in Space.
Yeah, Lost in Space. Exactly. It kind of had Lost in Space vibes for me. It isn't the same story. It isn't the same characters, but it definitely felt like it followed a similar arc. And I watched the first, whatever it is, 5 episodes, and was really enjoying it. And then I found out that they're releasing 1 episode a week, and I had caught up. So I was a little disappointed. And so now I'm just going to hit pause and come back to it. Super easy to watch, super fun, worth your time.
Yeah, I live in fear of the catch-up. When I was watching Andor, I was like plowing through them, and then thankfully it just happened to fall right when they dropped the last 3 episodes, so I didn't have to stop, which is awesome. But right now, I think Last of Us just finished too, so I can finally watch that. I started watching it in real time, but I stopped.
Yeah, unfortunately, I ended up seeing some spoilers. I'm kind of bummed about that. I haven't seen season 2 yet either. I was waiting for it to finish up. You know, a couple things got posted to social media. I was a little bummed about it.
Yeah, no, I wasn't happy about what I did see. Not that the story was bad. I just didn't like what I saw. So yeah. I don't want to spoil anything here, but we'll see if they're able to pull it off.
Sounds like you and I saw the same thing. We're both not liking it.
Yeah, like, come on. And it's like, why?
Exactly.
But apparently that is what happens in the game, and I didn't know that.
Yeah.
What I do know is that you want to stick around because when we come back after this short break, it's going to be time for the good, the bad, and the marketing, and it includes some news about that new Mission Impossible release, plus the big movie of this last weekend. So stay tuned.
Hey, Rick and Rick Nation, don't forget to check out our website at rickandrick.com. It's double the Rick in just one click at rickandrick.com.
And welcome back to Rick and Rick Rule the World. Rick Matheson and Rick Wooten. And it's time for the good, the bad, and the marketing. First up, Memorial Day weekend shattered box office records. Disney's live-action Lilo and Stitch debuted to a stunning $192.7 million opening domestically, and at $361 million globally.
That's insane.
My understanding is that this was meant to be direct to Disney Plus, and now it's probably going to do $1 billion or $2 billion in the box office.
That's really insane. You know, these remakes are getting more traction than I expected. I'm really surprised by that. So did it outpace Mission Impossible?
Mission Impossible did less than half the business of Lilo and Stitch.
Wow.
But it was a franchise best $79 million US debut, so it still did quite well. Now, get this right. Together, the two films powered the highest grossing Memorial Day weekend in history, with nearly $330 million in total ticket sales, per the Hollywood Reporter. Before this weekend, the box office was actually down year to date. Now it's up $3.1 billion, a 22% increase over the same period in 2024, just because of these two movies, according to Reuters.
Wow, that's really impressive.
Yeah, for marketers, the drivers behind it, nostalgia, diversity, and really emotion-first storytelling. I didn't see the original movie, so I don't have any nostalgia for it, but apparently there's a huge swath of the population that does, so pretty amazing. There's also a lot to talk about at the Chicago Sun-Times. They came out with a summer reading list filled with an AI-generated list of book titles, and they weren't the only ones, I think, that ran this list. And it has more fiction than the fiction it recommends. These titles don't exist.
That's right. They had some great ones like the Pineapple Pizza Wars, Murder on the Blockchain Express. I mean, they had amazing titles, and somehow it got past everybody and launched.
Apparently only 5 of the 15 books listed actually exist. The rest were hallucinations.
Yeah, I guess what happened is they had pointed to a third-party site and then had AI scrape it and write the article for them. And I'm assuming what they had done is they looked at it for grammar. They didn't look at it for accuracy, and then ended up publishing it.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a lot more of it.
Sorry.
This is sort of the cautionary tale here. AI can accelerate content. People are going to have to really check it, or else it's going to lead to other embarrassments like this. So that is too bad.
They've been learned.
All right. Well, what we're all going to be living and learning is Google's giant leap forward in AI-powered search. The tech giant announced sweeping upgrades to AI mode. This is its experimental search experience. It's powered by Gemini 2.5, according to Adweek anyway. One standout update is Deep Search, which browses the web in real time, runs hundreds of subqueries, and generates expert-level citation-rich answers. It's also becoming agentic.
That's right.
So apparently, Google's AI can now take actions on your behalf, like booking reservations or analyzing data, and soon it will interpret your surroundings using your phone's camera, I guess, to make recommendations or whatnot.
That's right, and GPS as well.
Yeah, and for commerce, Google's integrating its massive shopping graph. This is over 50 billion products into AI mode, and it's going to basically turn casual queries into dynamic shoppable experiences. And what happens to e-commerce sites if you can search for something and then be able to purchase it right in the Google search?
Yeah, that's going to be pretty incredible. I think the other thing I read that they were adding is, to interface with all these things that you're talking about, they're going to be trying to do it by voice. And so you'll be able to just talk to your phone versus trying to type something in.
Yeah. So we talked about this, like all of a sudden we're going to be selling to AI shoppers as much as humans. So it'll be very interesting to see how this all plays out.
Totally. I think we talked about in a previous show the idea of AI SEO. I listened to a podcast and the case was being made that regular SEO is just as important, if not more important than it was before, because you're still going to have this interaction of both AI indexers coming to your website that is going to feed into these engines. But for at least the next few years, you're also still going to have regular individuals and individual consumers coming to your website. So the challenge of SEOing your website is actually probably more complicated than it's ever been.
Yeah, apparently the indexers, they use those same key words and terms.
That's right.
So all the things that you do now for SEO become more important because it's how AI learns about and weighs the authority and quality of your content in its answer. So it's hugely important.
Absolutely.
What else is interesting is this billboard that smells like the pits. This might be the freshest campaign in women's personal care, literally. So LinkedIn user Kylie Parsons, she posted about how Billie, this personal care brand, just dropped a scratch-and-sniff billboard in New York City. Yes, you can actually smell their product right on the street. It's experiential marketing that shows armpits, and you can go up and compare with the product, and I guess without or different products, I'm not sure. And needless to say, it's going viral because folks go up and do it and of course take photos and share it. So great experiential.
Absolutely. And they're not alone. I guess this idea of scented advertising is starting to become popular. There's a whiskey brand, Glenlivet, that's doing the same sort of thing where they're spraying this the smell of whiskey into the air, just trying to see if they can draw people in, which is pretty exciting.
Well, if there's a free sample, a billboard that hands out shots of whiskey would definitely go viral.
That's right. Well, I don't know if you remember this, but Burger King a while back did a flame grilled cologne. Do you remember that?
Oh, that's right.
I don't know that I want to walk around smelling like, a Burger King burger.
Not a good smell. But the whiskey example just made me think of longtime listener Bill. One time we went skiing. It was in Tahoe somewhere. And we stopped because we had the munchies. We thought, let's go grab there was like a little snack shack thing. And so we're standing in line, get, a chocolate bar or something. And then he goes, what's that? We look over this building. It turns out it's a bar. So we go into the bar and we got whiskey shots. Bad idea. So we're skiing right after that, and we're doing the stupidest jumps, and he goes over a jump, plants his ski pole, and then face plants it into the pole and breaks his tooth.
That's awesome.
And I see the whole thing and don't realize he's actually hurt at this point, but I start laughing, and I am literally crying from laughter all the way down the hill. And then he's coming down laughing. We could not stop laughing. Skiing has never been so hilarious. All right. One thing that you definitely want to tune in for is a round of loaded questions, which is coming up right after this next break. And it includes a question about the smart ring brand Oura and its new marketing campaign. So stay tuned.
This episode of Rick and Rick is brought to you by Taskin, the first name in ultra-stylish, premium-quality travel gear, like the Taskin Air Duo dual-sided compression packing cubes. One side's 100% air breathable to keep clean clothes fresh and wrinkle-free. The other side's odor and water-resistant to keep dirty laundry sealed up tight. Now you can pack up to 40% more in the same space. Save 30% on your next purchase when you use the promo code R&R Take 30. That's R&R Take 30 at taskinsf.com.
And welcome back to Rick and Rick Rule the World. Rick Matheson and Rick Wooten. And it is time to play Rick and Rick Loaded Questions. This is our multiple choice quiz game to test your knowledge of some of the latest happenings in the worlds of marketing, media, tech, and pop culture. Rick Wooten's going to play here in studio, and you folks can play wherever you're listening to this podcast. Rick Wooten, you ready to play Loaded Questions?
I couldn't be more ready.
All right. Question number 1. Biometric smart ring brand Oura has launched a new marketing campaign featuring a vibrant and optimistic view of getting older, accompanied by a tagline that reads, A, give us the finger. B, living well has a nice ring to it. C, stick a finger in it. Or D, finger me. Biometric smart ring brand Oura has launched a new campaign featuring which of these taglines?
Oh, man, I don't remember what it was, but the one that wasn't offensive, B.
Living well has a nice ring to it is B. That's
the one.
Okay. Fortunately, no.
Whoa!
The actual tagline for this campaign is give us the finger.
Wow.
As Ad Age reports, Biometric Smart Ring Oura has launched a new campaign from agency Nice and Frank that reframes getting older as something to embrace rather than fear. That's good. The tagline, give us the finger, plays on the distinctive placement of the Oura Ring on one's index finger, which captures, apparently, the most accurate health data. Give us the finger is the new tagline.
That's awesome.
All right, question number 2. According to the latest CMO survey from Deloitte, the American Marketing Association, and Duke University, chief marketers across industries are A, shitting their pants right now, B, enjoying an iced tropez and a delicate farci niçoise on a charter yacht at the Cannes Lions Advertising Festival, C, more optimistic about the economy than they were last fall, or D, less optimistic about the economy as they were last fall. According to the latest CMO survey, chief marketing officers across industries are what?
I'm going to guess less optimistic.
D, yes, you are correct. So according to the Wall Street Journal, the 2025 CMO survey finds that nearly half of chief marketing officers, 48.2%, are less optimistic about the U.S. economy than they were as recently as the fourth quarter of 2024. It's a 64% jump over the 29% who felt that way last fall. So some interesting tidbits. According to the survey, overall marketing spend increased 3.3% over the past 12 months, while digital marketing spend increased 7.3%. These are growth rates that are substantially weaker than in the fall of 2024. For where the budget's going, the biggest specific allocations so far this year have been in advertising, brand, digital marketing, and promotion, while decreases were seen in customer experience and new products or services. If you think about it, the last couple of years, we've seen a lot of investment in customer experience. So it may be just that that's kind of run its course for now, and folks are gearing up more into promotions.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
All right, final question. Which of the following is not expected to be a contender at this year's International Festival of Creativity? Is it A, the Visit Oslo, Is It Even a City campaign? B, the Mozilla rebrand? C, Jaguar's Copy Nothing campaign? Or D, Toblerone's I Want My Chocolate viral campaign? Which of these is not expected to be a contender at this year's Cannes Lions Ad Festival?
Man, I don't know, but I'm kind of hoping it's Jaguar.
You are correct. Answer C.
Oh, nice.
Now, who knows? Maybe it will be, but the Copy Nothing campaign promoting the launch of Jaguar's Type 00 EV is not, so far as I can tell, expected to be a top contender at this year's Lions.
Yeah.
But you never know. All right. Well, that is going to have to wrap up this episode of Rick and Rick Rule the World. Thank you so much for listening. Until next time, you can listen to new and archived episodes at rickandrick.com, and we would love to hear from you, so drop us a line. Our email address is rick@rickandrick.com. Until next time, keep on kicking ass and keep on coming back to the one show where everybody's name is Rick
and everybody rules the world.